What up, H-Town? Welcome to another episode of the official Dynamo Theory Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura, and I'm joined, like always, by Cristian Putalias and Rodrigo Segura. I hope you guys are doing great because it's finally here, guys. Week 1 kicks off this weekend. But guys, before we get started, Cristian, if you can tell the people how to connect with us, man.
Yeah, man. What's up, everybody? You can find us at dynamotheory.com. No, at Dynamo Theory on IG and Twitter. You can find, everybody, I guess, on dynamotheory.com. You can find all the player reviews. You can find all the breakfast links. You can find everything that we're going to be doing over there. If you need to send us an email by any chance, you can get at us at dynamotheorypodcast@gmail.com. You can find me at Cris Putalias. You can find Rudy at Rudy Segura 3, and you can find Rodrigo at Rodrigo Segura 01.
Yeah, so this episode, I hope you guys are doing good, guys. I hope you guys are excited as me. I know, Rodrigo, you being in Dallas, it's a little bit hard, but me and Cristian, we're going to be at the game, ready for things to kick off. And super excited. I'll be with you're going to go to the media, right? Media box, Cristian?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Cristian be in the media box, and I'll be hanging out with the supporters, see how that goes. Hopefully, way to get a W. But before we get into any of match day 1, this episode, we're going to talk about the last few games that we kind of didn't talk about before about the preseason, which was Toronto and Dallas. We'll get into some rumors, and then we also do have some more predictions. This time would be team awards. So with that being said, I guess let's start with the match against Toronto. The Dynamo end up getting a win. They played in Austin, which I found kind of odd in a very windy day. They ended up taking the win 2-1. It was better than I expected. I know in the recording last, I said that we'd probably get 2 losses. We got 1 loss out of that. But Cristian, did you get to watch the game? And is there anything that you liked about the Dynamo?
Yes, I did get to watch it. I was watching it here at home, and I actually went live on my Twitch, and I was just kind of streaming it for somebody else. But nobody heard that. But yeah, I was just kind of like talking shit on Twitch, and then I went on Instagram live for a little bit too. But yeah, man, I think the Dynamo, it was very weird because they played completely different to what they had played against Austin. They played really like back. So if you were like watching the game, there was like a for sure line of 4 in the back, and then they did like a line of 5 right in front of them, literally like a few steps away. And then they left Sebas Ferreira up top, basically like literally in the middle of in the circle. In the middle circle to like kind of fight any other balls that he could get. And basically that's how the Dynamo played like the whole entire game in a way. Obviously that second team came in, in the second half, and they basically tried to do the same thing, but the 2 goals came in the first half, and they just, the second team just kind of had to hold, Toronto back. But, if you're playing against a better team like Toronto usually is or tends to be, compared to the Dynamo, I think going into this game with a strategy of sitting back and kind of waiting for them, and then kind of countering the way that Dynamo did, for example, with Dorsey, crossing the ball to Ferreira, how we got the first goal, I think is a good idea. Would I like the Dynamo to play like that every single game? No, because I tend to be more attacking, but personally, I like the team to be more attacking. But I mean, if you're going to go into a defensive block, I think it is a good idea. And they did, I guess, what they had to do. And, they shut down Toronto kind of, because it was a 2-1 game, right? So they did get to score, but, at the end of the day, we scored more. So we won. So.
Yeah, and I think, it was a good showing. Obviously, Sebastián Ferreira scored his 3rd goal of preseason. And then Tyler Pasher basically passed the ball into the goal. But I think a good takeaway is just to see how, such a natural scorer Sebastián Ferreira is. I mean, if you saw that goal, he, timed that cross perfectly, got his body positioned well, and was able to score. Rodrigo, I don't know if you were able to watch that game or not. Probably not, since you're in Dallas. But anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch this game. That restriction. But no, I mean, you guys summed that up pretty well. Don't really have anything to add on this. Just kind of disappointed.
Yeah, and again, it was a good showing for after getting, your butt whooped at home 4-0, obviously by Austin. So it's preseason, guys. Again, don't overreact. I think it's going to take a bit to get started, and then with that, we transitioned to another rival, which was against FC Dallas on Saturday. The team ended up taking another loss, 2-1 again. I personally didn't get to watch it because I was at a wedding, obviously. So didn't want to be rude and watch it on my phone, even though I kind of could have technically. But what do you want to add about that game, Cristian?
So I think personally, well, it was a bad game off the bat. Like, the Dynamo were playing really bad. I don't know, because usually a lot of people say that, Dallas obviously has a better team right now. And it seemed like they did, because, in the beginning of the game, they were controlling everything, and the Dynamo couldn't just put two passes together, in my opinion. It was also a game that, those games that, since they don't really matter in a way, you're not, well, at least in this game in particular, I wasn't, focused 100%. And also the fact that the Dynamo wasn't playing really well also didn't, wasn't very inviting, to sit there and watch or whatever. Especially when you have like kids and they're running around and you try to like watch a game and stuff like that. So to what I've watched, I mean, the Dynamo didn't play really well. I mean, the coach himself will tell you that, the team wasn't doing what they were supposed to, I guess, in a way. They seemed a little bit more ready for gameplay in a way. It didn't feel like a derby at all. It just, there was some, hitting in there, and then the officiating, honestly, it was kind of questionable as well. At one point in time, I might have said something like, I forgot something about, the referee being a Dallas fan, because, everything was a foul against us, and everything was as a foul for them. And it was just kind of bad. But in the second half, they kind of like picked it up a little bit. They were able to get on the scoreboard, because it was a 2-1 game, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But, other than that, it wasn't really like, it didn't confirm anything to say like, oh, the Dynamo are ready to play. But also, I don't know. It's like a big question mark, honestly.
Yeah. I think, the goals from the messages that you guys were sending was that the goals were basically like dumb goals, right? Like small mistakes by the defenders, or just, the mistakes that could have been prevented that basically allowed Dallas to, find the net on basically cherry picking. But Rodrigo, what are your thoughts on that match? I know you got to watch that, man.
Yeah, I know I've been the positive guy here, but honestly, after watching this game, dude, I don't know. My honest words, if that's how we're gonna play, we're shit. Like, we're not gonna do anything. Off the bat, our center backs could not communicate with each other whatsoever. You had Tim Parker just passing it stupidly back to Steris, and he's just clearing it. Like, it was just kind of like a hot potato game. Like, here you go.
Yes.
They kind of put Steve Clark in trouble at times too, doing the same thing. Dallas had a really high pressure, high intensity the whole first half. The Dynamo didn't. Like, they just let them sit back with the ball and just kind of, slowly defend, which I was surprised, because even like, Fafa, who comes back and defend a lot, I mean, he was just kind of like shadowing the player, like, let him come, and then Dallas was just going with the through balls, and our defense was awful. I mean, the first goal, it was a lucky, like, I forgot who the defense, I think it was Adam, try to clear it off the line, and then it just kind of like bouncing off of him and just rolled in, basically. Like, he could have prevented it, but overall it was just bad. And then the second goal, I mean, honestly, if we're being honest, Dallas should have scored like 4 goals the first half.
Hey, you are being honest. You don't have to
No,
keep
but
saying.
Dallas should have scored 4 goals. It literally in like 20 minutes.
Ferreira sucked.
Yeah,
they're Dallas Ferreira.
Yeah. He had like, I mean,
their DP.
There was like 3 chances. They just gave it to like straight to Steve Clark. You know, if he could have like put some power behind it or just a finesse, it would have been easily like 4-0 in 25 minutes. And I don't know. It just seems like if that's going to be our center back pairing, because we saw that in preseason, and I get it, you know, it's preseason. You don't have teenage, or you're trying to bring him in, but it just seems like this is going to be a starting center backs for the first game.
Well,
and if that's the case, like,
well, yeah, and I was going to say the silver lining is that it's not technically the starting lineup, but the way that, you know, Teenage may not be in form and ready for week 1. I believe he only played about 20 minutes in that match. So, you know,
a lot better.
Right. Yeah. And so, of course, yeah.
I think being in form is like an understatement. Like, it's kind of like an excuse. I mean, you have other players that went into this African Cup of Nations or whatever it's called. Sorry. And they're back to playing like literally in a week, and they're in form, and they're, you know, with their team starting, whatever. Why can't he be the same with the Dynamo? Like, it's just, you're a professional. You should be always in shape. You know, it should have been easier for him to come in, and obviously you're a center back. All you have to do is play defense. It's not like a tactical position like a midfielder.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the guy is very agile. I think he can do it. I think he's definitely one guy that can probably come in and be, you know, played 90 minutes. But then you also see it, not thinking about it, kind of like with Coco Rasquilla. Remember how he came from playing like with Panama in the Gold Cup, and then when they brought him back, you know, Todd Ramos would play him like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes. You know, he was never 90 minutes fit. And when he was, he got hurt and was out for a while. So, you know, it comes with the territory. I'm sure the lineup, it's already pretty much set for the weekend match, for the match day 1. But we'll talk about that later. Anything else you guys want to add on this? If not, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next one. What's up, Christian?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to highlight something. The Toronto game had a lot of highs, you know, like a lot of really good positive things. Fafa had a really good game with Adam on that left side, and Dorsey had a really good game compared to the Austin game. You know, the Austin game for Dorsey was terrible, but the Toronto game for Dorsey was, you know, spectacular, you know, to say the least. Baird, you know, he's kind of still there. You know, he's been starting every game, but he's not doing, you know, he's not going beyond to what, you know, I guess the expectations are for him. So hopefully he's able to, you know, do something else.
Well, what I was going to add, because you mentioned about, you know, Fafa kind of looking like he was just shadowing the players against Dallas. You also have to see it as, you know, the last preseason game. A lot of guys don't want to get hurt. They don't want to miss the season. So, you know, I think there is some kind of way that, you know, at the end of the day, again, you're not winning anything, right? I mean, do you lose and get, you know, maybe your feelings hurt as a fan? Probably, yeah, of course, right? We don't like to lose against rivals, but at the end of the day, you know, the guys, I don't know if they have the same feelings like we do.
No, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, like, you're out there to play, might as well just not even play the game. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like, you know, you're just puppets on the field to, like, you know, kind of like a training ground, kind of like when you're like, you know, a coach will throw 11 players on the field just to stand there, just so it can, you know, the team can go through a walkthrough, basically. That's kind of what it was. It was, there's no, I think the biggest thing is Dallas had intensity, Dynamo didn't. That, you know, like, what's the difference? Like, why couldn't we have intensity? Why did we just have to sit back and take it, basically, you know?
But at the same time, we only lost by 1 goal. So I think if they did have the intensity, that you kind of have to see, you know, I know Christian is you know what I mean?
They could have scored 4 or 5.
Exactly,
because they could have scored 4 or 5, and like,
I'm with Rodrigo in this one.
We got lucky. Like, honestly, like, first 20 minutes, I was like, holy shit! Like,
that could have been.
This is what we're playing. Like,
yeah,
and you know, and you're talking about, you know, Paulo with his what kind of style he's gonna come to play. And honestly, it was just literally clear the ball. Like we were so rushed that there was no, if you're telling me the center backs kind of swing it back and forth through the wings and, get the midfield involved and then you kind of build something up. No, it was literally shit. We're in trouble and just clear it.
And, you said about Paulo, I mean, we, on the press conference, he mentioned how it is going to be difficult to get a squad to play in a different style, which is true because how many, a good amount of the players from the last 2 years or even last year are still here. So, yeah, I mean, that may be something too, right, Cristian? I don't know what you wanted to add.
Yes. So 2 things. First of all, when they asked him on the press conference, Victor Araiza asked him, so what is your style? He was like, well, I don't want to tell, my style. It's like what's your secret, bro? Like, who are you? Like,
tell me what's in the Raising Cane sauce, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Barbecue and ketchup, bro. That's
it. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. Yeah.
Worcestershire sauce.
For real. I have a friend that used to work there. I'm gonna ask him. But yeah, so first of all, why are you so secretive about a soccer style? Like, it's just soccer, dude. Like, relax. Like, who do you think you are? Type thing, no offense, but who do you think you are? Not saying.
Yeah.
And then second, go ahead.
No, well, I was gonna say, especially because it's not like they can change your tactics. As it was football or a sport like that is straight up like a chess match. Exactly. Yeah. It's different, but it's fluid. At the end of the day, yes, there's different things you do, different tactics, but it's a fluid game. It can always.
We don't need to know your signs of your curveball, fastball, anything. Just let us know what you're gonna work with.
And what was your second point, Cristian? My bad.
And then the second point is I forgot, but we're gonna make something up. But basically, like, let's just say you have a new style, right? And he's always talking about possession of the ball. And I go back to Tab Ramos, and if you look at, to me personally, I thought his style of Tab Ramos was also possession. I said this a million times, and I probably will say it again another million times. But the teams under Tab Ramos actually play really well. One thing is playing really well, and one thing is actually winning, which they didn't communicate. But Tab Ramos teams play really, really well at times, and they moved the ball around and they kept possession. There was times that we were playing against big teams and we were moving the ball very well. So like possession, it was already part of the game with Tab Ramos. So if you're coming over here, if you're Paulo Nagamura and saying, oh, our style is going to be about possession and keeping the ball. Well, I mean, just look back at, Tab Ramos era. Like, it was kind of the same thing. I mean, I don't know if you guys think differently, but to me, it was possession based. Obviously, we didn't win. We didn't have a proper 9, in my opinion, to put the ball in the back of the net. We didn't have, like, if we could throw crosses in the box, there was nobody there. We use our wings. We use Lundy on one side. You use Dorsey or Sarek Valentin on the other. And that was the game, just keep the mob moving and then try to find the wings and bring it in. And obviously, how are you going to bring it in when there's no 9? Like, nobody took shots. Maybe with more possession with the ball this year, we're able to take shots from outside the box. Like, but then again, like, what, what do you mean it's hard to, like, move? Like, they're professional soccer players. They should know how to, move their tactics. I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have more topics to touch on, but I do want to say, you did mention about, obviously it was a lot of possession, but I feel the way that they played it under Tab Ramos, it was always hold the ball, and it was a lot of side to side, if that makes sense. Like, it was a lot of side to side.
That's possession, though.
No. I know, but it wasn't a lot of proactive attack, if that makes. And one thing that is noticeable from the game that I watched against Toronto. And I think this is where Paulo Nagamura is starting to, like, evaluate the players he has, because in the midfield, what they would do a good job of in that game in particular, they will give it to the midfielder, and it was the striker or the 3 forwards were kind of by themselves, if that makes sense. Like, the midfield didn't attack with quickness or didn't distribute the ball quicker. And I think that's the style that he's trying to develop, which honestly, he may not say it's Peter Vermees. It's Peter Vermees, man. Is that able to, have those midfields that can pick point, and move forward. And with that, I think it's a perfect segue, right, to the rumor that we've heard recently about Hector Herrera, the Dynamo kind of maybe moving or giving him an offer, which to me is a no-brainer. We also heard, and they confirmed it today, that Joe Corona was waived. His contract was bought out. So basically it's another space from a crowded midfield, which, you keep hearing crowded midfield. Not it doesn't mean that they're a good midfield. They're just too many people to play. And
exactly.
And I think, again, like even with Quintero, we've seen Quintero playing more of like in the middle, which again, to an extent, it'd be like a 10 because he's the one that's supposed to distribute the ball, but that's not his position. They're going to have to find somebody like an Hector Herrera that he's an 8, right? He's a box-to-box guy. He can play, we've talked about this on 5, 6, whatever you want to call it. He can play that as well if at the end of the day, Mati Vera is not the answer there. So he's versatile to be able to do that. And, there's so many pros to that. But Rodrigo, what are the pros that Hector Herrera will bring to a team like the Dynamo as it stands right now, with the pieces right now?
As a true Mexican, what is your opinion?
No, I mean, he's going to bring that creativity. I think he's going to open up the play more, look for those, hard passes where it's like a through ball, I don't know. I feel like a player like him is going to give a lot to the Dynamo, but at the same time, it just depends how, if we are going to play this possession game, like what does that possession look like? Under Tab, like Christian, like you mentioned, most of our games were possession based, and we had a few chances that were created, and there was games that we had 60, 65 possession, and we still lost. So it's just like it's one of those things like Herrera would bring. It's just give that one final pass that maybe gives you a good through ball to like Ferreira or Fafa, and I think that's what you would bring. I don't think he'll play as much as like a defensive center mid. And man, watching this game against Dallas, Mati was even playing like center back for like literally 15 minutes because they were so far back. And he was kind of like, F it, I'll just do it myself kind of thing. Like, honestly, it was chaotic. But
well, and and I know me and Christian have kind of had this conversation as well. It seems a lot of fans, and like you said, me and Rodrigo being from Mexico, we're fans that have asked to bring a Mexican player, right? Even if it's a young player. In this case, bringing an Hector Herrera, I mean, it's a high caliber, he's the captain right now of the Mexican national team. So Christian, how do you see Hector Herrera coming in? Somebody that, again, you don't have the same kind of, I guess, bias to an extent that maybe we have, just, because we do follow the Mexican national team.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically, yes. Well, yeah. But if you look at it,
you got Bad Bunny over there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that was a funny meme. That was a funny video.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It's better than blah 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 though.
Okay, let me recoup.
Did you probably go to the concert this week or what?
No, I didn't have money for it. But no, even if I had the money, I would. No, you won't catch me up there.
Hey, you get here, you get pendejadas for free, bro.
for free and live. Oh my God. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, if you just look at his like rap sheet, as a, like, for example, I don't follow the Mexican team, obviously, and and I don't follow, I guess I don't know if he's considered a legend or not, but I mean, the fact that he's the captain of the national team of Mexico, it kind of automatically, gives him not a legend status, but like, he's a como un referente, what they say,
Yeah,
like he's like a go-to guy.
He's well liked because he's been playing with the national team for a long time, and obviously, and this, obviously, Argentina exports a ton of guys to Europe, but I mean, the guy was, a big time player for Porto, playing in Champions League matches. and eventually making it to Atletico Madrid, which he, earned his spot under Simeone, of course. But as of late, it seems that he isn't getting as much playing time as he wanted to.
And also the thing is, like, Mexico, not, lately they have been sending more guys to Europe, but, it's kind of rare for the Mexican to go to Europe, in a way. But whenever you are like, a Mexican national that makes it to a big team in Europe, being Porto, being Atletico Madrid, who is in the Champions League, who was champion last year of La Liga, it kind of gives you that extra bonus. And obviously, if you're a player, like even if you're in the bench or you just play for a few minutes in a team that just, won your league in Spain, when you're going against, Barcelona, Real Madrid, whoever it may be, and you are currently playing in Champions League, it gives you that extra, like star status in a way, like you're somebody, it's like when Toronto signed Insigne, like Napoli guy, World Cup champion. Even when Miami signed the French guy, like I didn't know who he was. But just the fact that he was like a world champion or whatever, it just kind of gives them that extra boost. I don't think he worked out for them. I don't think he was like what they wanted or what they expected. But when you look at Hector Herrera, he's still kind of young. I mean, 31, we say that he's old, but 31 is like, could be still prime, like you can still have 3 to 4 good years on you, like 34, 35. That's when people start kind of like dwindling down. But I mean, 31 years old in the midfield, a box-to-box guy, or even just like a number 5, number 6, whatever we want to call it, just being the mastermind in the midfield, not even the mastermind, but just being like a captain and just kind of telling guys, hey, I'm here to hold it down, and y'all listen to me in a way, and I'll give you directions. Because honestly, that's what this Dynamo needs. This Dynamo needs a go-to guy. And not to like be mean or whatever, but I don't see Tim Parker as that. I don't see Tim Parker as their captain. If anything, I would see Fafa more of a go-to guy or a guy that was going to tell you, hey, like, you're messing up, step up your game, and that's what you need. You need a guy in the middle of the field that can see, have everybody around him literally, in the position that he's going to be in if he's going to play in the midfield, and just kind of, keep everybody on check, because what is Tim Parker doing from the back? Is he keeping everybody on check? And also Hector Herrera, I don't know how his English is, but, he's going to be able to communicate with a Sebas, he's going to be able to communicate with a Fafa. He's going to be able to communicate with, I don't know who's going to play.
Like 90% of the team for sure, man.
Exactly. And even though, we might not see it as a big factor, I think language and communication is a big factor as well. Like you can communicate, soccer, you don't really need to communicate, because it's, if basically, but, it's an extra, like an extra oomph if you can communicate with your striker and be like, corre para acá, or like do this, do that, and I think that's what makes it better. So
I love the fact that both of y'all, basically gave all the great things that he would do to the team itself. We haven't even mentioned the fact that, you're bringing a Mexican player to a city that has a huge Mexican population.
Yeah.
That for sure, will he sell out the stadium? Maybe not, right? Because, maybe he doesn't have as much click as a Chicharito. Why not? But again, he just won La Liga, not last year. The guy has some pedigree. People are going to come and see him, we're used to seeing PNC Stadium at 50% capacity, if not less. What if we have it at 75 capacity, instead? So, his jerseys will sell, and what was rumored is that the contract that they're giving him is a two-year plus a 1-year option. You still have him he'll be 34 years old, basically. So,
yeah.
Like, and that's what I wanted to add, that you said, he is still a good enough age that he's not completely out of, his prime per se. And obviously he wants to keep playing, so that he is ready for the World Cup, because this could be his last World Cup as well. And not that Mexico's qualified by any means, but that just gives you, a better idea. And you won't have him till most likely June or July, and it'd be a free transfer. So there's a lot of, no-brainer aspect of it. Yeah, you may have to, he's going to come in as a DP for sure, and he's going to have a big salary. But in your opinion, would you rather pay, over? I mean, it's going to be more than that, but you're going to want to pay more than like 1.5 million salary to him or to like a Maxi Ruti? It just kind of like, what is better overall? I think you pay the guy a salary of 3 million. Yeah, it's hefty, right? I mean, you're not paying him Carlos Vela money or Chicharito money. Even if it's close to 5 million, but I think you'll get that money back quickly. It's
for sure. He'll be a lot more useful than what Urruti was, like 100%.
Exactly.
I don't think that's no question.
Yeah.
And I think we need, because right now that's what we've been asking ourselves, like what is going on in the midfield? And if you bring this guy, that question kind of goes away.
You just need somebody you just need somebody that can organize the midfield, because at the end of the day, who you really surround him with doesn't really matter if he's able to organize a midfield. You can put a Memo next to him, you can put a Coco next to him, you can put a Vera, you can put a Jones, whoever it is. But at the end of the day, he's going to be the one commanding that midfield and probably commanding the entire squad. So you guys did a great point of saying you just need somebody that can kind of step up and actually be the face of the franchise, because right now we don't have one. I think if you guys want to add anything else, feel free.
Last one. Also, this is a really good, if this happens, it's a really good thing for the Dynamo, because, I've been saying that we are just a team of average players. Maybe one or another guy might stand out more than the others, but, having a player like that will elevate everybody else's game. So not only you do good for like your midfield or whatever, but I think your team around and your other players are going to want to elevate their own skills, their own, whatever it may be, like conditioning or esfuerzo, whatever it may be, like that they're trying to do. I think having a person like that will help everybody else, put their level up. So
yeah, Rodrigo.
I agree. No, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean,
I think
basically said everything.
It's good that we all kind of see it that way. And like I said, it'd be great. I mean, we can only dream, right? We've talked about rumors. I hate rumors. But this one, I feel like it's one that we do need to kind of talk about, because it makes a lot of sense for him to come, for both parties. I think it's a win-win if they're able to seal the deal. And before we move on, I just want to really touch on the fact that Dynamo Dos ended up getting some players. So they're in preseason. They're still building the roster, and there's going to be a lot of fluctuating between the first team and Dynamo Dos, as we saw Marcelo Palomino also captain that match against San Antonio FC. I believe they played. They ended up losing 2-1. Yeah. But things are getting better in the sense of like building and the squad kind of getting together. But we'll move to this next section.
Before you go to the next section,
go for it.
Let me just name them, because I think they deserve recognition, because they busted their ass and they got a contract, and I think we should at least say their name. I mean, in my opinion, right? Because when I was that age, I was not doing any of that.
Yeah, so
it's a big up.
Do you have it, or I have it open?
No, I have a list.
Go for it, man.
So Mujeb. Sorry.
Now let this guy pronounce the names and
Murana. I have the pronunciation thing, but I'm still gonna mess it up. So my bad, Mujib. Murana. Joyner Castillo. This is the hardest one. Diego Gonzalez, Roberto Avila, Paulo Lima, Papa Ndoye, who we saw, and he has a lot of potential.
He looked very impressive. That
boy
match.
Big.
Yeah.
Talon Maples, also a shout out to Senegal that won the African Cup. Talon Maples, Andrew Pennenberg, Jacob Evans, and the last one, Sterling Penningston John. So
yeah,
those guys.
And I think, like I said, the roster is kind of slowly building. It seems that the MLS, hasn't gotten themselves together with this whole MLS. But it's a new league altogether, so it's gonna take time to build up. But it's exciting to see a lot of these guys get an opportunity. Like you said, they work hard. Paulo Lima was a draftee, and then Papa did very well that match we saw him play. But with that, we'll move again to this segment about predictions. Last episode, if you missed it, go check it out. We kind of predicted basically where the team was going to end, which honestly, I think we were very optimistic compared to like MLS.com. Don't even look it up. They have us being in 14th place. So, and in their eyes, they do see it as it's going to get worse for us. So, hopefully, like Tom Bogert said, in his depressed picture with Paulo Escobar, that at the end of the day, they may be wrong. So who knows, with their predictions. But we'll move into predicting.
Wait. How are you worse than the coach that said we're fucked?
Well, they're not.
There is a different division.
It's a different. Yeah. No, I mean they
still though.
Yeah. But we are. If it makes you feel
probably
better,
would have been.
We're equal to them.
Yeah, we're probably pretty close. Like our 20. What is it? Our 27. Our 27 players is probably better or about the same as their 10 players. They have it.
Terrible.
Yeah, but
we have a full squad.
But we'll kind of predict this time about the 2022 Houston Dynamo season, Dynamo team awards for the season. So that involves having an MVP. I guess I'll name them all. We'll have an MVP, a player's player of the year, a golden boot, a defender of the year, newcomer of the year, young player of the year, Ironman of the year, which is a participation trophy,
yes,
and comeback player of the year. So with that, I'll let you guys go first. Cristian, who would be your MVP for the 2022 season as it stands currently with this roster?
I think Fafa is going to come back and have another heck of a season.
Okay, so Fafa. Rodrigo, what are you thinking for the MVP? Who would win that?
I think that's my number one choice too, Fafa. I mean, even just in preseason, he actually looked like he was trying to get after it, and other people just kind of like. What I liked about him, a couple of times I just saw that he was giving a shit. Like somebody will make a bad pass, and he's literally like, "Dude, come on," or they won't get the ball quick enough, and he's already kind of like, bitching like, "Come on, dude, like hurry up." So I don't know. I see that he has a lot of
He keeps people accountable for sure. Yeah.
And also low key, I think Fafa is trying to make it to the World Cup.
Hey, yeah, you never know, man.
So,
I think people that have that envision, I can't even talk right now, guys. But have the motivation to actually push, even though he mentioned to us that he may not be in the radar, but it's good that he's putting in that work for sure.
Yeah, sure.
For me, the MVP would be the guy that we're paid the most money currently, which is Sebastián Ferreira, because and that will go with my thread of thought, because in my case, I feel that he scored 3 goals in preseason already. So hopefully he can hit the double digits. Fafa had 11 last season. For somebody that is a defensive winger, that's pretty good. So if you're paying this guy that is natural born attacker, I expect some goals. So for me, I would be Sebastián. Players player of the year, I think that one's a little bit of a hard definition for us to maybe even predict per se, because we're not players. But who would you think would be a good locker room guy? That's basically how this is defined. So Cristian, who would that be for you, your players player of the year?
I picked Fafa again.
Okay.
I think, basically like what Rodrigo was saying, he keeps everybody like accountable, and he actually gives a shit, so if he keeps that momentum going up, I think everybody's going to notice. And I wouldn't mind seeing, Captain Fafa. So I think him.
And it's so funny because, he came from, again, a rival, and he quickly won us over, right? The fans over with the way, not just throwing up the H, but just seeing him be fiery on the pitch. Rodrigo, who would be that player's player, man?
I think if he can actually stay consistent, I want to say Mati. I mean, apart from the big, or I guess bigger contract he received, um, watching him play, like I said, he dropped back a lot to try to defend, especially when our defense was crap. I feel like he cares about the team. He wants to be a leader. We've seen his interviews, press conference, and he basically says that, like he's there to change things, not keep it the same as past years that how bad we've done. So I think he could be the one.
Go ahead, say yours, and then I'll say my piece.
To me, I like you guys. What's it called? Picks for sure. I think the player's player, just because I feel like it's a likable guy, and I think he's a lot of kind of what is it called? He shows with his actions, like the way that he kind of pushes people. But I think Teenage Davey could be a guy that can, definitely win that award this year. What's up, Cristian?
No, I want to say with Matias Vera, like obviously we need Matias Vera from like 2019. That was his first year, right? That he was like killing it. So if we can get a 2019 Matias Vera, I think we would, man, like we could be not unbeatable, but it will be hard for people to get across through the middle. And then another one that it just kind of maybe came to my head, but it seems like Matias Vera is like, he's very professional, whatever. But I think there's still like a missing link between him and the people. And I would love, I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but I would love the supporters group, whichever supporter group, to show maybe like an appreciation to Vera, like in a form of a tifo, or just like a token of appreciation, because I think he has busted his ass, like for 2-3 years already. And even though he has had some bad games, I think he's been pretty consistent, and he has been one of the guys that we can kind of count on in the past few years. And if I think if maybe the players, not the players, sorry, the fans kind of even like sing a chant or like something towards like a show of an affection towards Matias Vera, I think he could be a player that gets like emotionally involved with the club, and I think that would push his level to like a whole nother thing. Because I mean, I don't know if
you want him to bring out that passionate Argentinian guy.
Yes.
No, I got you. It's
I
somebody.
think he has a potential. Yeah.
And there's some people that play better when they're pissed off. So that too. So it's a little bit of both. So is there either him off or show him all the appreciation, because he's a silent leader at the end of the day.
I want like a new Eddie Robinson and the type of love. Like if you look at Eddie Robinson, he loves the Dynamo. Like it's weird. Well, not weird, but because it's you don't really see Americans be fans of especially American players, be fans of clubs in the United States. They usually, I don't know, grew up, loving another team or whatever. But when you see Eddie Robinson, you saw the love for the club as a player and today as a fan, even though he probably won't say it, or maybe he has, but I think he's a true Dynamo fan on like in his heart. And I think we need like another person like that, in the roster now. Like a referente.
We'll move on, but I think you need a lot of the players like that to kind of, love that
ideally,
jersey and the logo. But moving on to the Golden Boot Award, apart from who would you pick, I kind of want to get how many goals they would win it by. So, Cristian, who would be your Golden Boot winner?
Well, it has to be Sebas, and at least 20 goals.
20 goals. Woo. All right.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, who would be your Golden Boot?
Yeah, Sebas, but I would give him at least 15.
Okay.
That's like the target, I guess.
Yeah, that's funny because I'm the same way.
Reasonable.
I would. Well, I mean, honestly, 20 could be at work, but who's gonna be the supporting cast around them right now? We don't have that. So I'm with Rodrigo. I had also Sebas with 15 goals as the record that he may get. That was pretty simple. You paid a lot of money for this guy, like I mentioned. Obviously Fafa scored 11 last season. So if Seba scored 20 goals, I think we're in relatively good shape and maybe in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Fafa wants to score. He scored 11. He said he wanted to score at least one more, so 12. Say,
Yeah.
I mean, that just gives competition. So if he's scoring 12, we have Sebas at 15. I think the Dynamo will be making the playoffs at that rate.
yeah,
That might be more goals than we had scored last year, probably with those two guys.
yeah, no, you're not, no kidding, man. So the next award is Defender of the Year. Cristian, who would be your Defender of the Year? It has to be Tim Parker, right, for you?
Of course. But that's the thing, like, I don't hate anybody, by the way. We talk shit, but we're trying to push, trying to push you, as a fan. We're trying to push you. Like, we don't want to talk bad about anybody except some guy. No, I'm just kidding. But Defender of the Year, in my opinion, Teenage.
It's not talking bad. It's
Teenage.
just saying
yeah, exactly.
It's keeping people accountable as well as fans.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So yeah. Teenage. Rodrigo, who would be your Defender of the Year?
Yeah, I would go with Teenage.
Teenage as well.
More promising character out of everybody. I mean, after watching the few performances in preseason, I get it's preseason, but damn.
Yeah. What's it called? For me, a Defender of the Year.
That's a soundbite right there.
Right. Yeah. Right. For me, Defender of the Year, I would want one of our fullbacks to win that, just because either Adam Lumpkins or Seca would be a good option. So for me, I'll go with Adam. I feel like he defends very well already, but if he get himself a handful of assists, that should push him to Defender of the Year. Newcomer of the Year, guys. There's not a lot of new guys in our, they have joined us on Instagram. I posted the people that left, which was so far 10. If you include all the guys that left, that's a good amount. And I think coming in, I want to say we have Sebas, we have Daniel Steres, we have what's his name, Steve Clark, and I feel like Seca, and I feel like I'm missing one guy.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Hopefully, but no. Who would be your Newcomer of the Year? And obviously, you do have Thor. You guys, a few guys that got drafted as well. So,
Newcomer of the
academy
year,
players as well.
Yeah.
So
if he is as good as his highlights, Seca.
Yeah, Seca would be a good one for sure. As obviously, gold medalist. If he can bring even if he brings like 15% of Neymar, it'd probably be better than what we have. So bring a little bit of Brazilian magic, guys. Rodrigo, who would you be your Newcomer of the Year?
Newcomer would have to be Sebas, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to put him in the spot, I mean, he's gonna have to score goals, and everybody knows score goals sells tickets. So
yeah, for sure. I think yeah, right. No pressure. For me, same thing. Sebas is new to the league. I think it'd be hopefully he can. I mean, he already scored a few goals, so I think he's shaking up those nerves. It'd be kind of crazy if he went with 0 goals during preseason. That just basically puts even more pressure on him. But I think Sebastian is the one that could win that Newcomer of the Year, especially if he scores 20 goals or 15 goals. Or anything over double digits will be helpful. Then we have the young. Look at me, can't pronounce. Young Player of the Year award. Cristian, who you have taking that Young Player of the Year?
So this one, it was kind of weird or interesting because I put Palomino, and I put Palomino, but he's gonna be starting at Houston Dynamo 2. For probably like a good portion of the season in the beginning at least. But I think I'm hoping, his game is so strong that, they have no other option but to move him up. And then he's going to have a good showing in those games that he's able to move up. I know for sure he's probably going to play US Open games and stuff like that, hopefully. But, I'm hoping, they've been hyping him up so much, and I didn't get to watch him last year. Yeah. So I'm hoping Palomino, can can actually prove himself to be an MLS caliber player.
Yeah, and of course, there's a few guys that we've seen in the preseason as well, like Andre Guito, and other players like that from the academy. However, they're not signed; they're not technically homegrown players yet. So we're just kind of messing with what's on the roster currently. So, Rodrigo, who would be your young player of the year, man?
No, I was thinking the same thing. For me, it would be Palomino. Being the captain right away at the Dynamo Dos. I think he's gonna be that like super sub maybe, or give a little bit like a second win to the team when either they need to push through or get like a goal to tie it or win it. I think he's gonna play an important role in that aspect. So I think he can succeed.
Yeah, I think like you said, Palomino. I think it's the easiest way to go because we've heard of how good he is. Playing with the youth national teams for the U.S. as well as he had a hell of a year with Charlotte Independence. Right, he scored a few bangers during. So we want to see, especially because I kind of want to be a little bit selfish and get that falling out of the chair celebration that you gave him, Cristian.
Right.
But just because of the way it looks like, and it seems that okay, I'm gonna go with Thor. I feel Thor may be a backup of maybe even a third string striker. But the little flashes that he's shown, the guy has a lot of he has some aggressive attitude, which is good and bad. And I think it's something that the Dynamo need. Like you said, kind of like you want a Eddie Robinson. I think this guy can give you that fiery aspect. So I'm going to go with Thor Ulfarsson. So that's who I'm going to go with. And hopefully he's proud that I pronounced his name right.
Shout out to Thor. God of Thunder.
Shout out to Thor. But next award is the Ironman of the Year, which if you have listened to past podcasts, or whether it be 442 or it would be Crossing Soccer Borders, we mentioned the fact that we saw this as a participation trophy just because it doesn't make a lot of sense to us. But basically it's given to the player that has the most appearances for the team, and we'll keep it on because it seems they give it away. So Cristian, who will be your Ironman of the Year, or who you want to see play, more?
This is such a dumb award. But hopefully, I don't know, teenage. I think we need teenage to play every minute of every game. Yeah. More than anybody.
No kidding, man. Rodrigo, who would be who would be your Ironman of the Year?
I think it's gonna have to be Steve Clark.
Good one. He beat me.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to come up in big games.
Yeah.
I feel like the recent pack got him. That's probably why. And he's gonna have to be like 95, maybe 99% of the games he's gonna have to start as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, and I think he brings clean sheets, kind of what we talked about. Maybe a Hector Herrera bringing. I think he can organize his defense. Which that usually tends to help for sure. I was going to go with Steve Clark as well. Not going to feel like changing it, but if we expect for the midfield to be what it is, I think Amati Vera, I think I want to see him on the field, as much as I can see him on the field so he can, he just got a contract extension, man. I feel like you need to work for what you're making. So especially when you're a professional sports player.
and I say again, if y'all show him a little bit of affection from the stands, I swear to God, he's gonna reciprocate. I don't know if I said that word correctly.
No, that was perfect, bro.
He's gonna return that love. I promise.
We're gonna fill the stadium with Argentinian flags.
Something.
Hell yeah.
What's it called? And that's actually talking about Mate. We keep mentioning him. I won him on the podcast, so we'll find. I'll push to get Mate on a Orange Talk, even if we have to translate it. We'll do a good job of that for sure. But last a team award that we have is one that I kind of added because it wasn't given last year, maybe because we kind of were trash. They're like, let's just put that one away. Keep it in the trophy case. But it'd be comeback player of the year. So it basically is what it sounds like it is. So Cristian, who would be your comeback player of the year for 2022?
I put Baird.
Oh man, dang.
Just because he was injured, and now he came back and he's starting. So if he's starting over Pasher and he's starting over whoever's on that right side, it's because he shows potential. And I hope that he shows, why he was the rookie of the year whenever he was the rookie. And I hope he shows, those glimpses of greatness that he had at LAFC. And hopefully he can show that, he's here for the long run in a way, for a few years.
Rodrigo, I'm not even gonna add. I think you hit it on the nail, Brandon, because that's what I was thinking myself. But Rodrigo, who would be your comeback player of the year?
The
silence is killing me.
No, I mean, we're talking like, I guess comeback. I would say Quintero.
Quintero, that's a good one. I mean,
yeah, if he's gonna get like, we saw him briefly, in 20-something games. And I think he only started like 9 of the last few games. I feel like if he has a full run as like 90 minutes, I think he's probably going to be one of our top players.
No, I think that's good. Yeah. You want to add something?
No, I said hopefully.
Oh, yeah. No,
I was trying to cross my fingers, but I couldn't. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell, right? I mean, there was definitely fallout with the Tab Ramos after Quintero had a very good 2020 season. That season that was just COVID crazy. He did a hell of a job, so it was kind of very interesting to see him not play, being in that doghouse. But that's a good one. I am gonna add Memo Rodriguez. I think Memo has been a player. It's kind of same thing, obviously he's been has the most caps. He's been with the team for I think 6-7 years now. And I think he's a player that when you don't even say two seasons ago, you say 2 coaches ago with Cabrera. Right. It's kind of depressing. But he found the groove and he was able to score some goals. And I know here he would be asked to do something different. He's gonna have to be asked to be like a Kinda that plays for Sporting KC, kind of that pivot between the defense and the forward. So if he's able to do that, I could see him getting that award. But guys, this has been a heck of an episode. What do you want to add, Cristian? Go for me.
Well, first of all, Gary Kinda is really good. Second of all, comeback of the year, the Houston Dynamo. Period.
Let's go.
Goddamn club, bro. Like we have to put every single player there.
Comeback team of the year for real.
For real.
What's it called? Comeback fans of the year, the Houston Dynamo fans. Let's fill up that stadium, guys. Come back everything. Come back everything.
Somebody come back.
But again, this episode was a good episode. A lot of good discussion. Cristian, though, tell the people, man, how they can connect with us, man.
Yeah, man. You can find us at Dynamo Theory on IG and Twitter. At Dynamo Theory, IG and Twitter. You can shoot us an email at dynamotheorypodcast@gmail.com. You can find me at Cris Putalias. You can find Rudy at Rudy Segura 3. You can find Rodrigo at Rodrigo Segura 01. And for everything and anything and all the things, dynamotheory.com.
Yeah, and I think we're super excited. And I say that as Rodrigo Johns. But Rodrigo, go ahead and close us out, man.
Oh man, I don't know. I just got tired all of a sudden. I had to switch my computer over here because it was dying. So I'm like, damn. All right. But yeah, no. Thank you, Houston Dynamo fans, for listening, and remember to always hold it down and keep it forever orange.
Let's go.